Welcome to the broadcast. Hey, everyone. So happy to be here. So I apologize. I'm a couple minutes late today. It's one of those things where I had two things happening at the same moment. I had to drop my son off at work. He was supposed to be there right at the same time I was supposed to start this. I had to drop him off early, and then I just was a couple minutes late. So sorry. I had to go potty. I got home, but I was like, I got to go before I start the broadcast. So yeah, that's my day. But coming at you straight from the gym. Got gym hair. It's nice and sweaty. Well, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to see you guys. Let me put up here. I'm going to look the comments. If you're new to the broadcast, just all you have to do is just really we talked about a few things at the beginning, but then you're also welcome to just ask questions at any time. This can be very interactive. So you can comment, ask questions. You can ask about anything from gifts. If you want to just like a general reading of what's going on. If you're having, health issues, purpose, you name it, we can kind of look at it and discuss it. It's just one of those things where I love to just hop on here and to serve and to give value and to use, not that I'm some magical creature, magical being that can do something that others cannot do, but it's just that I've really just kind of honed in I've honed in and developed my skills so that I can just quickly use some of the intuition and some of the spiritual sight to maybe just share insights as a second witness for whatever you're going through. So it's not that I'm, doing anything that others cannot learn to do or develop in their own way, right? But I just am here to share in the way that my gifts show up. So how is everyone doing today? Drop your comments in. Let me know I'm not alone here. I mean, I see people watching, I see comments, but also too, here they coming. Let's see here. Okay. Well, let's start out. I love to start out with just kind of checking at the energy of what's going on in around, like in the world, right? Like let's check out the energy of what's going on around us. So many interesting. I mean, it's just. I feel like I always say this, but there really are just, it's so beautiful and so cool to just watch all of the symbolism and all the things that are just kind of transpiring and happening on the earth right now. And it feels like it's just been progressively getting more and more, I don't want to use the word intense, but we're definitely having heightened experiences and heightened things going on around us. So it's always fun to check out the energy of the day or the energy of the week, see what's going on to just kind of understand it. So, alrighty, let's look at that session, and then feel free to just drop those comments anytime. Okay, let's see. So yesterday I looked at the energy and it was kind of interesting. I'll just kind of summarize a little bit, but there were a lot of polarity energies going on, where one of these polarity energies were like a straight stream of information, and it was like divine information, receiving some instruction, like very divine. But then on the flip side, there's also kind of a cloudy energy that was also bringing confusion and lack of clarity. And so it's like, well, I feel like I'm getting a message, but I don't know what to do about it. So it's those two kind of polarities in the same experience. And then there were a couple other things. So that was basically the message of just these two polarities. So we definitely still have some of the elements of that energy going on. And then also there was definitely an invitation that, this is the other polarity. One, it was about the voice. One crying out almost too much, like, oh, woe is me, things are hard. But then there was not enough crying out for the things that you're grateful for, the things that you do want to experience, like asking, you shall receive. So there was like an overabundance of one and a lack of the other. Okay, so those things are still continuing, but in a way, what is going on here is, okay, we're in kind of moments. We're always in a moment of creation, but this feels like almost more like a tipping point of creation. And it really, I just want to emphasize even more speaking about what it is that you do choose to experience in this life. Like if you want more freedom, if you want to increase faith, increase joy, then speak of those things. Instead of being anti all these things, let's be pro what it is you are looking for. And that can be everything in your life too. That doesn't have to mean like a public opinion, but it's everything in your life as well. And we're also being called to like increase the gratitude. Like I'm just seeing like it's kind of weird, but like the gratitude well is running dry. Like we just really just got to up that gratitude for everything, even the hard things. So a lot of gratitude. Let's see what else there's going on here. The clarity energy is kind of dissipating a little bit. The cloud is staying a little bit more. And some of the instructions that we are receiving from heaven is just kind of coming in. It's more like a soft breeze. It's looking a little bit more like the still small voice typically kind of comes in. It's just like, let's just listen to it. And so definitely lean in to that and try to, like, if we lean into it and try to hear it, we'll be able to hear it more clearly. But it's an invitation to lean in, right? It just isn't just there. It's asking for us to take a step and us to lean in to receive it. So that's kind of beautiful. I really like that. I really like that dynamic. It just reminds me of, how many times does the Lord just say, like, come unto me, like this invitation, beckoning, like inviting, and like wanting, like, come unto me, come unto me. And that's what it feels like. It's very much this invitation. And it's just kind of a soft thing. It's like there's all this chaos around us, but then there's these gentle invitations like, come unto me, come unto me, come unto me, all ye that are laden with, what is that? And I will give you rest. I keep hearing that kind of scripture. Like if you're feeling heavy, then go to him and he will give you rest, and he will make thy burdens light. So whatever those little words are, gosh, I wish I had the exact scripture in my head, but I keep hearing heavy laden. Yes. Thank you. All ye that are heavy laden, something about being burdened and heavy laden, then come unto me and you shall have rest. So that's really beautiful. And it's a gentle, like I said, invitation, but not just an invitation just to hear, but I also am getting like this invitation to lean in and to be like almost, if you're like a child and all of a sudden you have a big, strong parent that comes in and is able to just like, hey, I'm here and I can take care of things for you. It's like, oh, like daddy, like holding on to him, like, oh, yay, I'm going to lean into that. So lean into it. It's really beautiful. So love it. Okay, let's see here. Okay, and then let's go to this first comment. What is this? I didn't have a tickle before. Okay. Okay, Natalie, let's do this on here. I was going to get back to you somewhere else, but we'll just do that right here. Jennifer, thank you. That is we're going to pull that up. Matthew 11, 28 and 29. That's what I'm hearing. I love it when I hear like the scriptures. It just feels like it's like boop, boop, direct little messages. And so then, and there's so many more insights that come when those scriptures pop into the head too. Then when you go and read it all, you're like, oh, this is a really good message for right now. Some of you guys have heard my experience, but I just a couple weeks ago, or a little less, but my daughter was giving birth. So I'm a grandma now, but I knew that she was and her husband got COVID. So I was like, the day that she delivered, he got sick. and had COVID. And so she was just having to do all this stuff alone. And I wanted to go fly out to see her and I couldn't make it work. So it was just, and I just wanted to comfort my daughter so much. And I kept hearing the little, Gangster's Paradise kind of playing in my head, like as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I took like a little Coolio part. And I'm like, well, I knew that was a scripture, but I kept hearing the rap in my head. But I knew it was a scripture. So I was like, okay, where is that in the scriptures again? And so I went and I looked and it was in Psalms. And then when I read the full verse in Psalms, it was like, as I walked through the valley of the shadow of death, and then it was like, fear not, for I am with thee. And so it was a beautiful message I was able to kind of give my daughter, like saying, it's not going to be easy. You're going to walk through a valley of the shadow of death. You're going to walk through some hard times, but just don't be afraid. You're not alone. Like, that was kind of the message I was able to give her through that. So I love looking at it, hearing some of the verse, and then going to look at it. So thank you, Jennifer. Okay, let's look at that good thing for your daughter, Natalie. Okay, so I also am just kind of picking, she might actually have some gifts, some spiritual gifts with spirits, with feeling them nearby. And I'm actually thinking that she's a little clairsentient like you are, like with the receiving it with the body. For some reason, I'm seeing like these little antennas up around her body. And like she's going to be able to sense them. Like, oh, I feel like something's behind me over my shoulder and something's over here in the room. And it's just going to be like, she just has this awareness of where they're at. So what you could do as a mother for her is just to start to help her differentiate, like what kind of spirit is she feeling? And honestly, when you have that ability, sometimes it's good to focus on it and see what's around you, but then also to not pay attention to it. So, I've definitely got this. I can feel them. I can see them. I'll usually like, okay, if it's coming in strong and I feel like something's watching me, I'll just kind of turn my gaze and be like, what's watching me? Who is watching me? And kind of evaluate. Is it, is it a disembodied spirit, like someone who lived on the earth before? Or is it a good spirit? Is it an angel of sorts? Or is it, an ancestor? Is it something adversarial? Is something dark? If it's dark, what do I have to do about it, to get rid of it? And so I would just start to help her to differentiate. How does she feel when it's there? Just feeling like like you're being watched, that doesn't automatically mean bad, right? Especially if you've got that sensitivity to spirits, it could just mean something's there, something could be watching. So it could be something good watching over you. And it could be something not good. So you just have to discern that. And what a beautiful opportunity there for being a mother and being able to help navigate your child with these gifts. I've had a couple of my children have these types of abilities. And for some reason, this one I've really, a lot of gifts, but I mean, definitely I see the strand of this one. It often travels through a lineage, like a generational lineage. So it's almost like gifts can be passed down from generation to generation. So like I can distinctly track mine, like my children, through me, through my dad, through my grandpa. Like it's just like there's just this mantle of being able to see and sense these spirits on the other side. And like honestly, like sometimes, okay, I'm going to give an experience here. One time, not even one time, I can think of like multiple times. I'm just going to tell like this one time. One time going into, it was like a restaurant. I was on a lunch break for work. It was a restaurant, but it was kind of the sports bar. But I go in there and it was just like, I just felt like I was being watched. And I finally was just like, hey, who and what is watching me? Okay. And so then I turn and it was more like a disembodied spirit that was more like had an addiction with kind of alcohol, but it was just kind of sneering and just kind of watching me from a booth. It couldn't get close to me. It couldn't bother me, but it was just definitely kind of in the distance. And then I just definitely just like said a prayer, kind of just made it known, like, don't mess with me. You can't get in my field. Like you just go away. and it lessened. Okay. And he just kind of like fine, and just couldn't come near. But here's another positive one where I felt like someone's watching me. Wow, I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but I feel like that's where we're going today. Another positive one. Didn't know I was going to be sharing this. This was like when my father passed away. So he had a heart attack, and I got to the hospital when they were still reviving him, and I felt compelled to look into the emergency room as they're trying to bring him back. And I kept feeling like someone was watching me. So I'm looking around at like the nurses and all the emergency people. Like, is somebody watching me? Like, who's watching me? And I kept looking in, and then kind of like, gosh, I just feel like somebody is. And then I finally just kind of realized, I was like, you know what? It's no one here physically that's watching me. And the moment I acknowledged that and was like, well, who is watching me? It was at that moment where I could feel where my dad was standing, his spirit, and I could feel peace, and I could feel happiness, and I could also feel the freedom of not being in pain. Like, and I also felt his humor. Like, I almost heard him cracking a joke. It felt so inappropriate, and I was like, that is so my dad's humor, just to be totally inappropriate at a time like that. But where my dad, it was like almost the room had split in half, where I felt him on one side, and it was peaceful and kind of happy, and he's cracking this joke about his belly jiggling as they're trying to revive him, and I'm like, Dad, that is so inappropriate. Like, don't make me laugh at this moment, because it's a very serious moment. Because on the other side of the room, on this other side was his physical body and the chaos of the world. And so in that moment, because I acknowledged and leaned into that feeling of being watched, I was able to experience a really peaceful, beautiful moment with my dad who passed. And then I was able to also know he's not going back in his body. He's not. Like, he's so happy to be free from it. And so then sure enough, they stopped trying to save him. And then they came over, and I knew they were going to just say he's gone. But I had that little tangible moment. And I've had numerous experiences like this. I had like loved ones, a great grandfather that passed, visiting me as a child. And I just felt that somebody watching me. And then all of a sudden I opened up my eyes. I saw him standing in my room saying goodbye to me. I've also felt and seen others, loved ones, just expressing love and care. And even if I don't see them, sometimes I see them in my spiritual eyes. I'll hear names. I'll feel like if they're watching me, and then it's like I just feel love around me. Those are the signs that it's good ones. And then the other ones, there's a whole variety of negative ones as well, but it's just good to discern. So I thank you for asking that question. I feel like that's really good for a lot of people. To just kind of understand and pay attention. So I don't know about the mirror, Natalie, like you said, like the mirror. Is it just someone in the mirror? Like, I don't have more details on that, but I would definitely start asking her questions. Because it's not just like, when I'm looking at the energy of this, it doesn't look like it's just one person that she's felt. It actually feels like she's just maybe developing and opening those gifts of being able to sense spirits and beings on the other side. And so she just has to learn discernment. It's nothing to fear. Don't hyper focus on it. It's just, is there something for me to look at and know and do? And there can be some really sweet experiences too. Yep. Yes. Yeah. I just feel like she's just got that sensitivity to it. So it's like these spiritual gifts, but I feel like she's just going to not just see them. It's like she just senses the presence. And I would even talk to her about it. How do you know they're there? How do you know it's haunted? How do you know this? And like kind of help her work through and develop that ability and gift. So really beautiful. Yes, discern. Yeah. We don't have to fear this stuff, because if you fear it, and even if you hyper focus on it, it can amplify it and make it work like bigger than it needs to be, right? So it's just receive what's there and then then you can move on or whatever you got to do if it's not good to get rid of it. But there's definitely, you don't have to have the fear around it because it just makes it worse. Okay, good stuff. Good conversation around that. All right, what is this? Tickle in my throat. It's happened a couple times. And Natalie, a little irritable today about that. Are you a little irritable? Is this cough for you, my dear? Is it like stuff maybe you feel like you got to say? Is there something kind of stuck in the throat that's like wanting to come out? I don't know, but every time I kind of scroll up, I just get a little in my voice. So I don't know without looking more in depth. But Jennifer, let's go to you, my dear. I would gratefully receive some insights. Okay. Jennifer, the first thing that popped into my head is, what mountain are you climbing right now? There is a mountain and I just see you just like there's this like a challenge that you're facing or something that you're to overcome and work through, something hard, something like requiring extra work, extra effort, could make you feel a little tired from doing it. But I just see you like climbing up over a challenge or something you're overcoming like it just feels like you're strengthening something. There's a lot of strength in your personality that I see in you. Like it's like, but that you have not fully stepped into it or acknowledged it. So this is kind of interesting. It's kind of funny just to describe it this way, but it's like, I see parts of your personality and your energy. Like, I am Jennifer, here I am, like taking a stand and making a larger presence. And like being a leader or being seen or being vocal or being firm and strong. Like there's a lot of these aspects. I actually can relate to some of these things because it's just like it all of a sudden it fires my heart up. Like, yes, I relate. Like yes, here I am. That was me at the gym this morning. Man, I was listening to music to just be like focused, strong, feeling like I can just channel some of the challenges and some of the struggles into the workout. And it feels like you've got some of that strength, and then you got this mountain that you're climbing right now. And it's not an easy mountain, and it's not meant to be an easy mountain because it's providing it's testing your strength and your resolve. And I got to tell you, you got what it takes. You got what it takes. And it doesn't have to, and this does not mean you got what it takes from like oh, this is such good advice, even for myself. I'm like, okay, I get it. I hear this for myself too, but this doesn't mean muster up more strength and do it all yourself. So it's not like, I got to do it myself and I got to focus on like the doing of the energy, because that feels really exhausting. It's like, that would be intense. That's exhausting. This is not masculine, like the masculine side of you that has to kind of come in and muscle through it and make it happen. This is actually like you're climbing up a mountain, but it's got to be done in your receiving way, to receive. You just have to have that strength and resolve that you're not giving up, but then allow yourself to receive more and to open up not just your receivers, but to open up your awareness in ways that you can receive. And how can you ask to receive? And how can you, which I've actually just got to say, like, even being here and asking, that's a form of asking. So I'm happy. I love that you're here and asking for some of that. So it just feels like a beautiful opportunity to level up and to learn something new about receiving. And how do you, I mean, like, really, like, think about it. Like, how are you supposed to overcome this challenge and climb this mountain in a more feminine energy? Like that's kind of like, what? Like, I feel like I need to pull out my ice picks and my rock climbing gear, but how can I do that inner way of receiving and more your feminine energy. So there's something really beautiful for you to learn there. And you're going to use whatever you're learning here to help others, because you do have a leadership quality that is already there, but you're actually going to be stepping into it more, is what I feel like, and this is going to help you do that so that you're not going to exhaust yourself. Yes. Okay. Look, I'm loving this. Yep. Thanks. I'm tired. Yeah. It's got to be, you're right on. And the feminine energy. Yep. Love all that. The feminine energy. You got to just step into the feminine energy. So yeah, something to ponder on that. How do you face and climb this mountain and activate that receiving and more feminine energy? That's kind of like your head goes, but there's something there. There's something there for you. And let that knowledge that what you learn from this is going to be fuel. I feel like that is something that drives you. This is something also similar I can feel in myself too with this, is that it gives us strength to know that we're going to be able to use what we're learning now to help others. It like gives you more strength. Like, okay, I thought I was done. I'm super tired. I thought I was done, but I can keep going because I'm going to be able to serve others with what I'm experiencing right now. So it feels like that's also true for you. Love it. Yes. Ooh, I love the way that Nicole said this about yes, release to receive, be the vessel. And you are a vessel, Jennifer. So definitely a vessel. Oh, I love you. I feel left alone trying to figure out why. Yeah. Well, this is the opportunity now to not feel alone, to find out why, and to allow yourself to ask and to receive, because it felt like that mountain was feeling like, oh, I'm left to my own to climb it. And if you do that, it's going to be too much. You're going to be too tired. It's not meant to be climbed in. And I want to say it's not meant to be climbed in the same energy that you've climbed other mountains. Maybe other mountains, you're like, yes, muster up some strength and muscle through it. And that's been powerful and good for you. But this is not that same mountain. It's a new one, because it's new opportunities and new experiences. So very, very interesting there. Very cool. All righty. Let's go to... I hope I can hold down. I gotta go to the bathroom again. I've been drinking lots of water. I think I've probably had like 60 ounces already today. That's gonna come back soon. All right. Okay, let's see here. Natalie, back to this. I have felt like screaming to be seen. I think you just acknowledged it. Yes, that definitely felt like the little tickle in the throat, like it's like so yes. Way to acknowledge that. Okay, so let's okay, just going through the comments here. Okay, let's go to this one. Hi. I'm happy to do a reading. Now, the thing about future, so just as kind of my own personal disclaimer, I don't ever really just be like, here's the future as it's going to happen, because I'm not a future teller. I can look at the energy strands of things, but I'll tell you something really interesting about the future is it's always changing. There's like an infinite number of possibilities that can happen. Like I was saying, like their timeline options. And so based on agency and choice depends on what will happen for future. So it's like, so that's, I don't usually say this is what's going to happen in the future, because it can change. And I've seen it. I've seen very specific things in the future, and then it kind of starts to play out, and then it shifts, and it's like, what happened? And it just means that there were just some different elements in place. So what I can do though is I can look for current trajectory, like your current choice options. And then I can actually kind of see if there's any other energetic possibilities, maybe a different shift in it that could benefit you. So let's look at this one. Let's see what I can find on this. Okay. So what I'm seeing here is that for for an ideal situation in your future is, I see, and I want to invite you actually to reevaluate and look at some things currently in your current moment with your emotions and your beliefs. And these are to look at it and say, what am I afraid of? And what am I maybe having doubts about? If you're being afraid and you're having doubts, or if you're focusing on the negative, anything negative, and maybe like what negative outcome could come forth, like what could happen, all you're doing in that scenario is you're going to feed into that negative outcome even more. So it's like right now I see, like, if you keep feeding some of those fears, emotions, focus on what you don't want, any of those negative things, then it's going to keep building on that, almost like bringing in closer what it is that you don't want to experience. So in order to shift it to the highest one for you, start to imagine, use your, like, you're a creative, like just being here on earth, you're already a creative being. And part of your creation is what you can visually, what you can imagine, right? Our imagination is huge. Also, our words, the words that you speak, when you speak, it's creating things into form. It's like the vibrations of it are going to help bring things into a physical form faster. So making sure that your words are aligned, making sure that you're seeing and imagining the best case scenario. And then also the other aspect of our creations, right? Like our thoughts and our feelings. And so this is like, what do you think about a situation? How do you feel about it? And just choosing into it, feeding the good emotions and the positive things. Okay. So it's, I'm reminded of that, like little, the wolf thing. Like we each have two wolves inside of us. I want to kind of say that we each have two, or we each have, you know, these different outcomes in our life and for the future. And it's like, well, which one wins? Well, the one you feed. So definitely feed the experiences and what it is that you would ideally like to experience. And then honestly, like if worst case scenario, if something negative does happen, you will at least have the positive tools to overcome it and to handle it better, and to know that it had nothing to do with your creation of it, and that you actually just drew an opportunity. Like experiences we think are negative don't necessarily have to be negative. They could be opportunities for growth, opportunities to overcome, to learn, to grow, to become something better because of that experience. So those are some really good reminders for all of us. So thank you for asking that question. Really good. Oh, cute. Hi, Lydia. This is fun. Hi, Lydia. Let me see here. This is fun. I love it when kids are here too. And we also had Natalie's daughter about her situation. So this is fun. I love kid stuff. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so the question, since I just thought of you, Lydia, the thing that came in was, what do you feel is smothering you in life right now? And it feels like there's just a lot of stuff that you kind of feel are kind of squishing in on you and smothering you. Some of these things, I got to say, are maybe expectations. Do you like to do really good? Like, I don't know, like do you like to do really good in school and, choose the right and make good choices and try to, do all the good things in life? Well, those are great desires of your heart. But sometimes when you have all of these expectations and wanting to do good in everything, it can feel like there's so much to do and so much, things that I want to do better, and that it can start to feel like it squishes you. So I want to just say, give yourself permission to be human, to give yourself some grace and compassion. Give yourself a little bit of movement to make mistakes, to be human, to maybe not have something done as well as you would want it to do. Just do your best. You don't have to be perfect. Just do your best and allow yourself to breathe more and move more, and just, give yourself like that cushion. And sometimes it could be helpful to decide like what is most important. Okay. So I had this conversation with my daughter, who she's 14, she's going to be 15 and she has a really high, she likes to be a really high performer. So she puts a lot of pressure on herself. And she was pouring hours and hours and hours and hours into the school project and stressing about it because she was wanting to get a good grade. So much so that she was having like anxiety about it. And she was crying about it and having an emotional, like everything's falling apart about it. And so I had to kind of like talk to her and be like, look, okay, you're trying to get it to this level up here, but where is your mental and emotional health priority? Is it worth sacrificing all of that and even physical health? I mean, it can affect everything, our physical body too. Is it worth risking all of those things just to get this thing right here? And then at first she was like, no, I want to make sure I get it. And then later she came to me, she goes, you know what, Mom, I'm just doing my best. And if I get a B, like she knew she wasn't going to fail it, but maybe she won't get a solid A on it. But she's like, I'm okay with a B because I know that I have to also take care of other things in my life. I have other classes. I have my physical body, my emotional, my mental health, and I'm going to take a break and I've got to do an art project or something to just start being free to create. And she's like, I've got to do this for me. And I'm okay with me knowing that I did my best for this moment and it may be a B instead. And she just came to that conclusion herself and she chose it and she was okay with it. So that's kind of what I feel. Oh, I love this. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful desires, Lydia. Like really, really beautiful desires to just want to do what's right and do what's good. It's such a beautiful desire. Just make sure it doesn't flip over and contribute to things like croup and feeling like it's smothering you and like you can't fully breathe. Okay. So, all right, sending you love on that. Okay, let's see here. Kind of coming back here and okay, I'm going to go to this one and then I will have to hop off. All right. Hello. I love you. Let's look at some patterns in relationships. This is a big question. Should I walk away and is it time to move on? That's a big, big question. And that is something that is truly like for you and God, like that is something you'll have to have confirmed to you. But let's look at the relationship pattern and see if there's something there that we can look at and kind of acknowledge and at least give you some insight so that you can maybe take that in prayer in your decision making for that situation. Okay. Okay. So there's some things here with the relationship that I'm seeing. So all I'm doing is I'm looking at the two, like you and this other person. And I don't know specifically who it is, but I've put this in mind and kind of watching just the energy of what you said. And then all I'm doing is kind of watching the energy go back and forth. It's like a conversation, like the relationship conversation to see what's going on here. And there's a big part of it where I'm seeing your energy as it comes out. It's not feeling seen or heard, and it's feeling kind of invisible. And it feels like your efforts are not being, maybe your efforts are not being acknowledged. And the things that you want to say are not being heard. So it just feels like it's like bouncing up against this wall. And the one thing that I would maybe just keep working on is almost yourself, making sure that you are healed enough so that you there's eliminate as much as self-doubt as possible, almost like love yourself more so the other person can love you more. If this makes sense, see yourself more, speak up for yourself more, and you hold yourself more and carry your energy more first. And then as it opens up more, I feel like that other person might be able to see and connect with you more. It's kind of like work on yourself first, like this oxygen mask, like do this first so that you can help them see you and them relate to you. And then I feel like at that point, when you are seeing and valuing and loving yourself and doing all these things, feeling like you're seen, feeling like you have value, feeling like you can expand and take up space in this world. Like you can have a presence, and you are allowed to take up space, as much space as you need, like, because you're created to be you. So how much energy and space is you? And you feel all of that space, and you be fully you. And at that point, if there's still some of that going on, then you can come from a whole and healed place, and you can go, I know that there's nothing more that I can do. And there's a very peaceful place, even if it's hard. I've definitely experienced this, where there's a difference in leaving or severing a relationship out of a place of, I could have done more and I had more healing to do on myself. There's a difference between coming from that place than from coming from a place of, I have done everything I could. I healed all that I could, and I have done it. And it's like, it's complete. And it feels like it's complete. And it's like a package that you're like, I did all I could. And here's my offering. I did all that I could. That feels so different than coming from a place of like, there's still more that can be done. So I would just take a look at that yourself, see what else more you could do or give or heal or become whole yourself. And then at that point, you can make those decisions even more fully and know what to do better. So I want to send you love on that. That's never an easy situation. Lots and lots of love. So, all right, my friends, it's so fantastic to connect with you today. I apologize. I do have to hop off early. I really got to go to the bathroom. Like, that water is coming through, and I'm like, I can't hold it anymore. And it's going to start interfering with doing any of these questions. So I do have to head out, but I do also just want to just extend an invitation. And I have not talked about it very much yet on these lives. I just wanted to extend an invitation to those who would love to be in proximity of each other. And I invite you to come to a retreat. Now, I've got this retreat, and it's going to be November 11th, 11/11, beautiful numbers and dates. And it's here in beautiful St. George, Utah. We got sand. It is called the Be Brave, Be You retreat. And I have missed being in proximity of people and feeling you guys in person. And so I'm so excited to just have this retreat, finally have this event and retreat, so that we can just be in each other's presence. And it's going to be a really transformational experience with it's coming in. Like, I'm getting inspiration for it. Also, just to check it out, it's at theliberatedsoul.com. In fact, I can put that in the comments. theliberatedsoul.com, because that is how we truly live our purpose. That is how we fully understand our identity and who we are, why we're here, how our gifts work, is for us to be liberated and to be brave and to be you. So I definitely invite you to check it out, theliberatedsoul.com. And for those of you, I'm not going to go into it too much here, but if you would like to work with me in depth and actually get certified in my Brave system, you get to come a day early and do another like 6 weeks total of like additional coaching and private sessions and stuff with me. And it's also on there. So anyway, thanks for being here, everyone. And I will talk to you soon. Feel free to leave any questions or comments. You guys can always leave. We can answer before, during, or after these lives. So if you just want to put anything here, if you're watching a replay, we can answer you on the next one. So thanks for being here, everyone. Love you.